What is up? Today is an interesting day. Have you ever experienced because this is kind of what I'm experiencing in this moment. It's like your life is intensified, it's not really consistent with just, repeated days and repeated, it's not very consistent. And it's I think of consistent for one example of consistent, one way, is just you go to work, you eat, you sleep, you go to work, you eat, you sleep. And then, some days you plan for vacation, or you plan things out. You plan to go see your friend. You plan to go ahead and hang out. And you kind of understand, pretty much what your schedule for every day is. It's literally consistent, right? And my life is like that majority of the time, but sometimes it's just a nice big shift happens, and it's like I'm afraid of being consistent, but in another light, I'm also embracing change, embracing education and experience. And with that comes change. When I learn new things, when I discover new things, either where I want to be, where I want to go, I can't get there doing the same things. And even when I am in a different area, or in a different place in my life, in a different mindset. That's the thing. I want to talk to you guys about mindset, because my mindset is very confusing. It feels like I have multiple personalities. But I think that my character, my essence, is so it's so deep. I take things deeply, I think about things deeply, and it feels like I have a different persona. I have multiple personas, and it's just, it blows my mind, because for instance, in my professional life, I'm pretty professional, and some other parts of me do, bleed out. And, sometimes I'm a little ratchet, I'm a little ghetto. But in the end, I know that I like to be professional in my professional workplace, or work path, or, what I'm saying? And then it's I still, I don't know, sometimes it feels like I don't know how to be just myself. I feel like I pick and choose when to act a certain way, and I think a lot of it is based on trust, and also wanting to make people feel comfortable. And sometimes I feel like my character can make people feel uncomfortable. But that's just me. It's not I've expressed myself in different ways, and they accepted me so far, I think if most people talk about you, it's not going to be in front of your face. Unless you ask them, some people will tell you, and it's I think a lot of it is to avoid conflict, And sometimes conflict isn't really even that serious. It's just like uncomfortable for a lot of people. And I totally respect that. There's no reason to be judgmental of someone's decision, to judge somebody and confront them for their decisions. I think naturally we all judge one another because that's how we build a relationship. Now, when you judge somebody in a way that's, right? Most of the time we want the positive, we want reinforcement, we want compliments, or we accept all those things. But for some reason, it's hard to accept criticism, and I think those are both judgments, and I'm trying to learn to be okay that I do judge others. Like, for example, I have this long old friend, and this person means a lot to me because of our history. We grew up around each other, and it's just someone I care about because I want to see them thrive as a person, because when we were a child or a kid, teenager, we grew up not knowing what life really was, or the evolution of life through our adulthood, while the world is also evolving and changing. So not only did we have to adapt to the changes, but we had to also adapt to our own changes, our own mentality, and and improve those core skills, and improve what we like, what we do, what we want to be more of, and apply that to a workplace, and apply that to society, in a way that's succeeding, being able to afford your bills, being able to afford your car payment, being able to afford your rent, and then also be able to afford taking care of yourself, of myself, and most of us has to go with people who either choose or have to be independent on their own, most likely single or even in a relationship. But I'm speaking from my perspective, and I've been a single household income for a while now, but these past 5 years that I have been a single household income, it's been revealing. It's been very, 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 very revealing. And it's been very revealing, and I'm impressed with myself, because with the education and experience that I was surrounded with, I felt like I have made a lot of changes, where this is like a good example of a different personality. Through my experiences, I have learned new things on my own, where I have developed a new persona, or at least it feels like completely new, but it's really just an extension of my persona, because I had to learn and adapt to not be so codependent. I've been very, 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 very codependent, and I am still codependent, except I feel like I have shown myself that I know what it takes to be independent, and it's a good feeling, really. and I've seen my friends be independent. And I have seen some still being codependent, and that is nothing for me to judge there. There's nothing for me to judge there because people have to put in the work. That's kind of like when I see people judging a heavyset person when it has nothing to do with them. People call it fat shaming, and I'm like, dude, like, that isn't even a thing. Why are we making it a thing? And then, like, creating a box for people to fit in, and then take upon that. So, anyways, like, I've always been kind of here and there, not knowing really what I want, not really know what I'm doing. But I know that I'm developing, and it's been like that for a while. And sometimes I feel like a little shameful, like I feel like I continuously repeat over and over that I'm developing. Well, guess what? The developing stage is as long as it takes, and there is no time frame. Sometimes I'm actively developing, and sometimes I'm, dormantly developing. And it's a process. It's something that continues and continues and continues. And one of my highest strengths is being futuristic and learning. Those are one of my two favorite strengths, is thinking about the future. How can I apply the past skills into the future to create relevancy of my experience? What's the point of learning something if you're not going to use it? And I don't really know what the phrase is, what the word is for what I'm learning, but I will say is that it's probably something in the future. It's something futuristic. It feels like a purpose. It feels like something that I'm meant to be doing because I enjoy doing it. And I think a branch of that is sharing a story. One that's pretty personal to me, or personalized to me. Obviously, it's still personal, but I want to be relatable. I want to be a person that, that shows people the process, because there's a lot of people in this world. There's a lot of people in this country. There's a lot of people in my freaking state. And either I'm surrounded by people who continuously struggle, or people are very open to me about their struggles. And I appreciate that because it's informative. Because not only do I use my own experiences, I understand and acknowledge other people's experiences. So that way, I don't just have information of my direct experience of life. I network. I understand. And most of the time, it has to do with challenges. And the funny thing is most challenges that I see people face are the same challenge that they've been facing for years and years and years and years. And it just changes forms. It doesn't matter where they go, where they are. However, even though the same thing is the core of the challenge, the core of the challenge is repetitive, but it is in a way, like I do see it like shredding, but I feel like a challenge, the core of the challenge never really leaves. And it makes sense because those challenges that we deal with have to do with our memories. And what we do is we can intensify it. we can magnify it, or we can do the opposite. And I feel like every single human being has a challenge that they're focused on or don't really care about anymore. And no matter how much you work through it, that challenge is always still going to exist. Now, knowing that piece of information, there's nothing for you to solve. It's unsolvable.